Hello folks, and you're watching Cooking with the Word. There's nothing better than a good chocolate chip cookie with a glass of cold milk, and maybe with some good vanilla ice cream. So we've searched around with trying to find out what the very best cookie we could make is. We made cookies out of chocolate chips. We made cookies out of with nuts. We made cookies with peanut butter chips, Nutella. We tried all different sorts of cookies. And guess what? They were all really, really good. But the best cookie that we have made so far, and the best we can tell, the best cookie that everybody seems to like the best, is the brown butter cookie. I want you to look at that. Now that is a beautiful cookie right there. This cookie is crunchy on the outside and soft and chewy on the inside. So what we're going to do, we're going to make this today. And we're going to go step by step with you and show you how to do this. And you won't regret it. But we're going to brown the butter. We're going to make the cookie, and it's going to be delicious. We're going to start out with some of the ingredients that we're going to need. We're going to need a half a cup of packed brown sugar, light brown sugar, packed down good. A half a cup of granulated white sugar. We're going to use a tablespoon of cornstarch. Now what this cornstarch will do, it will make it crunchy on the outside, but still soft on the inside. We're going to use a half a teaspoon of kosher salt. We're going to use a teaspoon of vanilla. And we're going to use a half a cup of butter. We'll use stick butter because we like it better. This is real butter. And a cup and a half of good chocolate chips. And we're going to put all this together and let's see how this works out. And we're going to use one egg at room temperature. Now we're going to brown our butter, and I know you can do this because I actually nailed this the first time I tried it. So I know you're going to be able to do this with no problem at all. Because most of you guys can cook a lot better than I can, so that's not going to be a problem. So what we're going to do, we're going to use just an average size little cooking kettle here. We're going to put our temperature on near high, I guess. We'll put our butter in. I'm going to show you the signs to watch for to do this. It's pretty exciting the first time you do it. I'll dump that in there. We're just going to watch for this to heat up, and I'm gonna kind of talk you through it. See, it melts quick. Okay, it's starting to get a little warm. Still a little bit solid piece of butter in there. But we're going to go with sight and sound. Remember, sight and sound. We're going to go with the way it looks, the way it sounds, and then we'll go with smell, the way it smells, to know when this is done. So we're going to watch it, we're going to listen to it, and then we're going to smell it. Hear it? It's starting to make noises. Now what that is the water in the milk is being released, evaporated out. It's starting to bubble. Okay, now do you hear it? Do you see it? See the bubbles coming up? Hear the frying. Now we're going to do this as long as we see the bubbles and hear the frying sound. We know it's doing its job. What it's doing is releasing all the water out. And we got to actually brown the milk properties inside the butter. It's going to start caramelizing. Did you hear that? It's going to bubble even more here in just a minute. We'll just move it around a little bit. Okay, we got our sight. We see the bubbles. The sound, we hear it frying. It's really getting out now. Look at all that foamy stuff releasing to the top. It's a lot of water. We're getting that water out there. A lot of air and different things is coming out of this. Sounding good, sounding good. Just want to say we appreciate you all for watching us. You see the phone number at the bottom screen. If you're watching on New Beginning Network, then you can just text us for prayer or just text and say, hey, I really enjoy these cookies. They were delicious. And they are. And, you know, C is for cookie, and that's good enough for me. Got all those bubbles coming up. And we're doing sight, sound, and I don't quite smell. We're looking for a smell, a nutty smell. It's going to be a nutty, caramel-like smell that comes out of this. It's actually going to give it a nutty taste. So if you got nut allergies and you can't, you know, still want the taste, and this butter, this brown butter will give that to you. Slowing down a little bit. And once it slows down, you have to stir constantly to keep it from burning. We don't want to burn it, we just want to brown it. It's still bubbling pretty good. Let's mix it around a little bit, make sure the heat is getting even. Slowing down. It means most of the water is coming out. So we want to have 2 tablespoons of good spring water or purified water ready to go back in this. Once we burn all the water out, we got to replace it back. Once we brown the butter, we got to replace the water back. We don't like to use tap water. We don't want any kind of chlorinated taste to go into our food. We just want the actual taste of things that's supposed to be in there. Okay, now we want to constantly get this stirred. It's releasing a little bit more out of there. All that coming out. So it's going to release about 2 tablespoons of moisture, so we're going to put about 2 tablespoons of water back. Now here, you don't hear the frying noise quite so much anymore. So now we got to stir this thing. So it's constantly stir. Now we got to do sight again. We're going to look for brown, granular milk properties at the bottom. And we're going to look for a nutty smell to come off of this. When that happens, then we're ready to go. So let's just stir around a little bit. We'll get this stirred. Now look at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that or not. See those little brown things toward the bottom there? Oh yeah, it's looking good. Got to constantly stir it until we can smell it. Oh man, that smells good. Okay, I can actually smell it coming off of it now. If you can see that, let me zoom in just a little bit. Toward the bottom, see the little brown specks and things floating around? So we're getting our butter browned. I'm going to go ahead and remove the heat. Like I say, make sure we don't burn it. Alright, let's add some water. So we're going to get this all stirred in. You see those things at the bottom? So we've got a butter brown. That looks good. This will be the best cookies you've ever ate. Got a caramelized sweetness of it. And we got to just put back a little bit of water, so I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons back. Now this has got to cool. So we're going to take about 5 or 10 minutes to cool. And I'm going to be getting all the rest of my dry ingredients and everything else ready whilst doing that. So got that all stirred in. See how the water's going inside of it. But you can see that brown butter in there. Wow, it smells amazing. And let's work on the other side. So we got our butter brown. Look in there. Saw that? We'll take that, put it into our mixing bowl. Make sure we get it all. Take our brown sugar. Granulated sugar. I'm going to add 1 egg. I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of good vanilla extract. It's a half. Another half. We want to mix this thoroughly. I mean, just don't have to worry about it getting too much oxygen in it because we already cooked all that out, but we want to mix it really, really good. Get all that in there good. Get that all mixed up, and you just stir it until it gets one good consistency of color. That way we know we got it mixed really, really good. Get all stirred in really good. See those butter properties in it there? It's brown. That's going to really intensify the taste of the cookie. Now, if you use the regular butter, you get the cold butter, and how you have to just work it into the sugar. With this, it doesn't matter. I mean, you can just mix this. You don't have to worry about getting too much air in it. You just stir it like crazy. And the color's going to start lightening up, even though you got the molasses and the brown sugar, and you got the vanilla that's going to add a little color to it. It's going to start lightening up a little bit. Look at that. It wasn't for the raw egg, that would be some good stuff right there. We'll stir this up really good, and we'll get ready for the dry ingredients. Going to add those in. Cookies are so easy. It's so rewarding. It's just so good when they're done. I'll stir it in. See those brown pieces in there? Okay, now we're going to add in some of the dry ingredients. For our dry ingredients, we've got 1.25 cups of all-purpose flour. We'll put a 1/2 teaspoon baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, now this is one of our favorite tricks. We want to use a whole tablespoon of cornstarch. Now what this will do, it'll give it it'll let it stay soft on the inside, but it'll give it a crunchy, crusty exterior, just like a shell on the outside. So let's get that sifted in. We'll get that poured in. Then we're going to use 1.5 cups. Unless you feel generous, then add a little more of. Does it look like a half? Yeah, we'll call that a half. All in there. Now we're just going to turn this in. Just incorporate the whole thing together till you have no dry flour left. Just mix everything together. Look at that. It's going to be pretty. Needs more of anything, just add some. Now look what we got. Don't that look like some really good looking cookie dough, right? So you guys may have kind of doubted me to begin with. Look at that. I want to make sure we get all the chocolate chips even around it everywhere. Look at that. Get that spread out really good. Easy, huh? Anybody can do that. Okay, now let's get the pan ready. We're going to get these rolled out. Now, people does this different ways, okay? A lot of people use ice cream scoops, spoons. I just use my hands. So make sure your hands are really good and clean. We'll get about a golf ball size. Just put it in your hand. Roll it around a little. Number one. Next time, get about the same amount of, about the same size. Number two. We're putting these clothes on the pan because we're not ready to bake yet. Three. Some of them are pretty close. We're not making these to sell. We're making them to eat. There's four. There's five. Sometimes people will turn those out exposed to chocolate chips, but they're going to be in there either way, so it doesn't matter. Now, if you don't want the dough to stick to your hands, the batter, then you can just wet your hands a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 cookies. I've made as many as 19 out of this before, but it's just according to what the size you make them in. And like I said, we're the ones going to be eating these. Annabelle's outside barking. We got a lot of bears and coyotes been coming around. I'll check the cameras, and if that's what that is, I'll check my trail cameras. If that's what it is, then I'll add the video to it so you guys can see what she's barking at. If that's what she's barking at, it could be a bird or anything. It's hard to say. She gets excited sometimes. But what we're going to do, we're going to take these, we're going to put them in the freezer. A lot of people put them in the refrigerator. I had better luck putting them in the freezer. I'm going to put them in the freezer for 30 minutes. Let them get good and firm. And the reason we're going to do that, because when we bake them, we want to kind of bake the inside as fast as we do the outside. That way we make them stand up a little better, not so spread out and thin. I like mine to be a little thicker. So we're going to throw these in the refrigerator or in the freezer for about 30 minutes, and we'll be back. Okay, we just checked the cameras, and maybe we could see exactly what she was barking at. Okay, Annabelle, what was you barking at out there? There it is. Maybe that's what it was. All right, we've had about 30 minutes in the freezer. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a new parchment paper. We're going to put it down on our pan. We'll space these out. We got our oven heating to 325. We're going to give these rooms to stretch. I'm going to crowd them up. So I'm going to probably do about 6 at a time. Give those rooms to spread out. Look pretty. And we'll be right back. Okay, we set the timer on 13 minutes. There's 45 seconds to go. So let's take a sneak peek. Look at that in there. Look at that. Is that pretty? Look at that. That's going to be good. We want the outside edges just to be a little crusty. Just a little. The inside still be fluffy and juicy, and I don't know if a cookie can be juicy or not. We want it to be thick and moist. So when the timer goes off, we're going to take them out. All right, y'all think about that. Get a little close up there. Now, does that not look good? We got the outside edges. They're going to be a little crunchy. The inside is thick. It's going to be moist on the inside of the cookie. The center's thick. Chocolate chunks of chips everywhere. We're going to let them cool just a minute. I'm going to put them over on the cooling rack, and then we're going to try one with some ice cream. Sounds great, right? We'll be right back. Okay. Let them cool just a minute. Let's see if we can get this one up. Come down on parchment paper. Should come right up off of there. I'll just hold this in. Put it over on the cooling rack. Let those cool down real good. Look at that, would you? That's the end results. Look at the lumps of chocolate in there. It's going to be crunchy around the edges, soft and chewy in the middle. That's what we was looking for, right? That's the kind of cookies that we like. But the brown butter that's inside of these cookies is going to give it such a unique taste. It's going to be the best cookies that you ever ate. Guarantee it. I mean, just wait till you try them yourself. If you got any questions, just message us and we'll try our best to help you. But in the meantime, we want to give you an opportunity to like this video, follow us on YouTube, send a message. If there should be a phone number down here somewhere, text that phone number and say, hey, we really enjoy watching your videos. We really enjoy the different meals that you make, the adventures that you have in the woods, the arrowheads, the artifacts, the singing, the preaching, and we really enjoy it all. Just send us a text message. If you need prayer, send us a message. But follow us on YouTube. We need all the help we can get. This takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. So if you let us know that it's blessing you in some way, then we're more than glad to do it. But in the meantime, we're going to let these cool while we got the rest of them baking, and we're going to try some with some ice cream. We'll be right back. Okay, we're having a wonderful night here on Muncie Mountain. I got Delirious singing on the TV, and fresh cookies just out of the oven, and not just any old cookie, but we got some good old brown butter chocolate chip cookies made from scratch, and they're going to be so good. Let's pick one. Blah, 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 blah. Let's try this one. Listen. Crunchy on the edges. Which one we open this up? Look at that. Oh, wow. The inside of that. Look at that. Look at my fingers. Try a bite. Crunchy around the bottom, crunchy on the edges, and chewy and gooey and delicious and perfect in the middle. And I'm talking about delicious too. Look at that. That brown butter gives, wow, such an amazing taste. I can't explain it how much better it is. Wow, you got to try this. Brown butter cookies, chocolate chip. Now you can add nuts, you can add peanut butter chips, just all sorts of different things. Pecans, macadamia nuts, white chocolate. However you want to do it, you can change it up. But brown your butter, and let me tell you, it is worth the effort. Cause gosh, it is so good. And get another bite of this. Make sure you push that like button on YouTube and that follow button. If you're watching us on New Beginning Network, look for Cooking with the Word on YouTube. Follow us, like it, share it with all your friends. Let them know Thursday nights at 8 o'clock, New Beginning Network. Wow. Let everybody know to watch. And from on top of Muncie Mountain, 3,000 feet elevation, Townsville, Virginia, I'm Mike Muncie. We love y'all. Me and Jessica say goodbye to everybody. We'll see you next week.